Hello Internet and welcome to Buddy Reads, where I read a small section of a book and review it, and hope that you read along with me. Look, I'm starting to try and do new things with the intro since I've changed my name, so just kind of go with it, okay? Trying new things. Today we are going through our second section of The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon, and we are covering up to chapter 157. I hope you've read up to that point yourself, because I do not want to ruin anything for you. I know! It's clunky. I'm not asking for help yet, because all of this week's videos are already recorded, but I'm going to work on it, I promise. As you know, all of these chapters are in prime numbers, so there aren't actually 60 different chapters that you have to read through, but there are quite a few, so let's just dive right in. Our section begins with Chris talking about how he likes math, and I'm like, hey, I like math. He discusses a very famous problem called the Monty Hall problem, which is basically you're on a game show, you have 3 doors to choose from. 2 of them have a goat, 1 of them has a car. You choose a door, the announcer says, okay, but you could have picked this door, and that door has a goat in it. The question is, do you swap doors or do you keep the door that you had? There are millions and millions and millions of arguments about this right now. It was especially popular on Brooklyn Nine-Nine recently. I thought that was brilliant because I had been researching this problem at the time, so that was very fun for me. Then he starts looking through Mrs. Shear's yard for clues, and he can't find anything, and he can't smell anything. And it's not that he doesn't smell anything different, it's that he doesn't smell anything at all, and he finds that interesting. Then he starts talking about Hound of the Baskervilles, the Sherlock book, and how that is his favorite book, and why. It's basically a chapter written like a booktube review, which I thought was awesome. Then he goes to school, and he's talking about his book with Siobhan. Siobhan reads a part about the affair that his mother was having with Mr. Shears. And she says, you didn't tell your father? And he says, of course not. And she says, good, that's probably a good thing. And then they continue on learning for the rest of the day. Then he discusses how memory works for him and how he feels it's like a DVD player and he just has to skip the chapters to the bits that he wants to remember. And he goes home and he puts the book on the kitchen counter and he's sitting in the living room. He was reading a book. His father goes into the kitchen and he finds the book that Chris was writing that has all of the information about talking with Miss Alexander and finding out about the affair with Mr. Shears. And Dad flips out. And Dad grabs him. If you remember, Chris doesn't like to be grabbed. So when Dad grabs him, Chris punches him in the face. Like that. Dad shakes him some more and he punches him in the face again. And then Chris loses his memory. When he comes to, Dad has a torn shirt and a bloody face, and he's standing there with the book in his hand, and he walks out. Chris hears something being placed into a bin. Dad comes back without the book anymore. Dad says, I need a drink, and he grabs a beer. Then he discusses a little bit more about how his brain works and why he doesn't like the color yellow and brown. His father apologizes for getting into a fight with him, says he's very sorry, and to show that he's sorry, he's going to go to the zoo with him. He makes some of his favorite foods, and they go to the zoo and they have a wonderful time. And Chris discusses why he doesn't like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, because Sir Arthur Conan Doyle actually believes in the supernatural. Then things got really difficult, because Chris really wanted his book back. So Chris decided that he was going to search the house for them, and he goes in to every room and he searches, leaving his father's bedroom for last. He goes into his father's bedroom and he finds this box called a shirt box, and he opens up the box and he finds his book. When he pulls his book away, he finds like 47 letters underneath the book. He finds that they're all addressed to him, and he finds that they're all in this handwriting that reminds him of his mother's handwriting. And he reads one of them, and it's from his mother. There's a section about frogs. Chris is able to go back into his father's room and grab a whole lot more letters. Turns out that his mother didn't die. His mother had left his father for Mr. Shears. And the whole story about his mother going to the hospital and dying was a lie. And in the letters, she details why she left. And she basically said, I felt like I was being a terrible mother. I felt like I was just another person for your father to take care of. So I thought it would be best for both of you if I left. And it's at this point that, well, a lot of the times I will say, I am ready to chuck this book across the room. And it's because I am mad at the author. I am pissed at the author. This time, I wanted to chuck the book across the room, but it wasn't because of the author. It was because of the characters. The characters were pissing me off. Father was lying to him. His mother was leaving him. It was just a terrible situation for everyone involved. His father comes back after he's read like 4 of the letters. Chris is in a pretty much comatose state. His father is slowly working him into a bath. It's sad. That's pretty much where I'm going to leave it for right now. If you have any thoughts on any of this, please leave it in the comments below to discuss. I will be back tomorrow to tell you what happens further in the book. Subscribe if you want to see more. This has been Buddy Reads with Elliot the Purple Hair Doofus reminding you to watch the Pajama Radius, and I will see you all in the next chapters of The Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Toodles!